I have returned. And not after a 2-week break, as I promised at the end of the previous video, but after a 3-week break. And that's because I forgot to record my Week 2 matchup against Devil Dave, which is a shame because he is one of the stronger coaches, I think, in our half of the Little League. I don't remember whether I'm front yard or backyard division. But in any case, it was a good game. I barely squeaked it out 2-1. I expect I'll see him again in the playoffs, assuming that I make it. So, yeah, I missed my Week 2 matchup. Such is life. We're on to Week 3 here. I'm up against MikeMadness. He is a veteran BBOL coach. He's been playing longer than I have. He has a lot of power in his lineup. In fact, looking at his team, I've got it on the other monitor here. He's got Ahmed, Larry Walker, Alicia Blakely, Amir, boosted Amir, and Betty Houston. So that is 5 batters with 85 power or more. So he has 5 home run threats. As such, I'm putting 2 of my 3 height players in the outfield. I've got Claudia in center field as usual, but I've moved Hillary, the Jeff Bagwell clone. I've moved her off third base and into right field. The higher the player, the bigger their catch box, the less likely they are to make fielding errors. So if he's going to be popping it up to the outfield, I want Hillary out there as well. So we have Cheryl Reynolds, the Sammy Sosa clone, holding it down for the infield at shortstop. Let's see how that strategy works out. Again, this is not live commentary. I know how the match turns out. I won't spoil it or anything. But I'm recording after the fact. So he's leading off with Carlos Beltran. Carlos is a very low contact hitter. I actually played with the Carlos clone in the previous season, season 6. Fortunately, he hits that foul. We did start off with a pop-up to left field that I was able to throw into second base for an out the previous game. So it would have been okay, if Artie had to field that one if it hadn't gone foul. But thankfully we get a strikeout, instead of putting Carlos on first or second. And we've got Gwen Sears coming up. Gwen is the fastest player on Mike's team at 7 speed. I might like to see Gwen batting first rather than Carlos in his lineup if I were him. Wally it goes straight to Wally. He just fields that easily. The bounce did not take it out of his his range. So that was just a little bit of luck on my part. Now we've got the first big home run threat, Larry Walker. Alternating between hooks in the bottom corners, as I usually do. This at-bat's going very well for me. You can see I aimed that one a little bit more outside the zone than normal, since I was up in the count, 1-2. Gonna do the same thing here. We manually field this one, instead of clicking on a base, because I don't want both Cheryl and Wally at shortstop and second base to both go for it. And we get out of that inning 1-2-3. Honestly, his most threatening batters, I didn't even see that inning. Leading off with Wally, I'm very happy with my batting order after the first 2 weeks. I know I've only uploaded 1 game on this channel so far, but I have played 2. Was very happy with my batting order in both. Swung early at that one. Unfortunately, it's just a simple pop-up. And his pitcher, Todd Xavier, has decent coordination. I think an 80, so catches that no problem. Now we've got up Claudia. Just going to let that go. Todd does not have, he's not one of the 100 stamina pitchers, so it is kind of important to get him off the mound if I can. So I'm going to take pitches that I might swing at, might ordinarily swing at. Nice little hit from Claudia. We get extremely lucky there. Well, I mean, the fact that he mispositioned his right fielder was not lucky. But the fact that the second baseman bobbled the throw was lucky. So I was able to turn Claudia around real quick, get her on second. Nice pitch from Mike there, painting the corners. So I still have not hit any home runs this season with Cheryl through the first 2 games. So I'm going to be looking for one here. All right, this play goes on for a little while. So Claudia's in a pickle. I use Cheryl to distract him. And I send Claudia home. But of course, Carlos has that strong arm. So I can't make it home with Claudia. I'm caught in a pickle again. But his catcher overthrows his third baseman, and I just get 2 lucky runs. I mean, I could have, based on the way that play was developing, I could have let Claudia get out and probably advanced Cheryl all the way to third if I'd timed it properly. But that's just lucky on my part. Mike does have a 3 height at catcher. Nan Porter, the Kurt Schilling clone, a 3 height with a really strong arm. So she, she has a tendency to overthrow sometimes. Not that I was counting on it or anything. So we've got Jorge here. I switched to line drive here when I have 2 strikes. Unfortunately, after he flubs the ball, after Carlos flubs the ball, Mike doesn't immediately click on it to get him to pick it back up. So Jorge is able to reach first. The reason I switched on to line drive with Jorge there when I had 2 strikes was because I just learned this recently. Power has a chance to whiff. And this is just like a comedy of errors, to be honest. There is no way that Jorge should have gotten to second there. Yeah, so apparently you can miss. Like if you swing with power, there's just a small % chance that you whiff completely, even if your timing as the player is correct. So I switched off to line drive there when I had 2 strikes. Didn't want to strike out with Jorge. But that's ancient history at this point. Jorge's all the way to second. We've got Artie Pimpleton up at bat. Decent hitter. Like mid-60s, high 60s power. Not a great decision to throw to first there on my opponent's part. Probably should have thrown to second to get the out, as Hillary is quite slow. Bases loaded, Fernando up to bat. My pitcher. Can Fernando be the 2-way player? Can he be the Shohei Ohtani of this team? Hit a grand slam while racking up the strikeouts. Let's see. Just let that go. That's in the zone, but I have a pitch to work with. Want to bump up Todd's pitch count. That's outside. And I think here I make a mistake. Yeah. I judged that to be low. But in fact, it was in the zone. But we do have, we had an out to spare there. So perhaps Donald, with a much lower power stat, can get a run batted in here, maybe? Donald? We'll see. Nice to see my opponent starting off with a couple balls here. I mean, nice for me, because he's already crossed the 20 pitch threshold, which means he's going to have to battle back in the count, and I can kind of let him hang himself a little bit. I think I might go for this. Yeah. Hoping for a drop here, but... Oh, I do get the drop. Oops. So I suppose there was a chance that I could have, with Hillary, I could have sprinted home from third, because his second baseman there, Betty Houston, has a terrible arm. Like 14 out of 100 terrible. But, you know, I guess I didn't want to risk it. Because if she throws it to the second baseman or to the pitcher and then they relay it home, Hillary would likely be thrown out. So we swung at a ball there. That's not proud of that. That was a stupid mistake. But I really cannot complain about my position after one inning, up 3-0, which is good because we've got the Kahn brothers up next, and they might put some runs on the board. So that 3-run cushion is, has me feeling comfy. Time to go back to the old standby. We're going to alternate hooks. Right hook, left hook, bottom corners. No home runs for my opponent, please. Don't want to pitch high. Nice eye from Mike. I think this one is in the zone. And that's just me getting lucky again. Straight to Cheryl. I mean, it's not, when I say lucky, it's not total luck. I am making the pitches hard to hit, you know. Like that one there. That'd be a pitch that I could easily see anybody swinging at any level of play. Unfortunately, Cheryl flubs that one, so she's 1 for 2. But we're still happy. We're happy. Alicia, an 86 power hitter. And quite tall. I think she's the Mo Vaughn clone. So a very threatening player. Despite her 5 speed, she's got max stamina, so she can sprint all day. Thankfully, that is foul, because that would have been a base hit for sure. You could see me. You saw me right there. I considered throwing it higher, but then I was like, nope. That's in the zone. Oh, maybe it wasn't. It curved a little awkwardly there, but still swung at it. Gonna throw a little bit of junk here. Hope he goes for it. Nope. Nice eye. My opponent is has fairly good plate discipline, but right there they try to get a little too disciplined, and I catch him looking. Betty Houston. So I could walk her. She's very slow. She has a huge bat, but she's very slow. So I could easily walk her. But with this 3-run lead, I'm thinking, even if she hits it out, I'm up 3-2. And the fewer walks I issue, the fewer times I have to go through his really threatening batting order. So this is an embarrassing play. Yeah. Donald there on third base. I have Hillary, who's my typical third baseman, out in right field. So Donald is like my poverty third baseman, and he just bobbles a ball that he should have caught. Now, I should have manually controlled him. I think that might have resulted in a better grab and a throw to second for the out. But it's no problem, because his next batter is Nan Porter. The Kurt Schilling clone, no bat whatsoever, easy ground out, relay to Jorge, inning over. So I'm back to the top of the order, and it's only the second inning, so that means I went through all 9 players, which is crazy. That was a very hittable pitch, to be honest. Even though it was the first pitch of the at-bat, I probably should have swung at it, because that was juicy. Very nice hit from Wally. And look at that grab from Amir. Amir, not the sort of player that I don't know what that throw to first was for. Amir, not the sort of player you think of when you when you think of a good outfielder. You know, he's a 2 height. His coordination's pretty good, but his eye is not. But he made a great grab there. With a man on first, we've got Claudia up. I think I go for this. Yeah. We're behind in the count. Let's see what Claudia can do. And this is... You got, like... If my opponent had thrown to first there, like, Wally tripped and fell. That could have been a double play. I don't know what the throw to second was all about. But I'm not complaining. Look at this play. Look at this. Larry, that's Larry Walker in left field. I had the Larry clone on my team last year. So I had both the Carlos clone and the Larry clone, 2 players on my opponent's team. Had them last season. Larry, phenomenal player. Yeah, I do switch it back to power here. There's 2 outs. You know, I'm just going to gamble on hitting one long with Jorge. We let that go. Looking for a pitch a bit higher in the zone because my opponent has been giving those to me. So yeah, Larry, not surprised at all that Larry made that grab on that previous play. But he can't grab this. Jorge's first long ball of the season. Hopefully not the last. And you see the little screenshot text pop up because I took a screen cap. I'm kind of paranoid about games like freezing and everything having to be reset, so I wanted visual evidence of the home run I just hit. Up 5-0 in the second inning. Feeling pretty good. Here comes Hillary. So I think that was an example of power swings potentially just whiffing for no reason. Granted, I could have switched to an open stance there to give myself a better chance of hitting that ball. Nice hit. But well fielded by my opponent. At first I thought he, like the right fielder was totally mispositioned. And I thought, okay, well, that's going to bounce and I'm going to get a ground rule double. But he knew what he was doing. He fixed it as the ball was coming down. Donald with the laser beam to Jorge to get the first out of this inning, kind of redeeming himself for the earlier error. Don't know if it was counted as an error. This game's error, you know, recording is a little wonky. Yeah. So right there, I was just hoping. What the hell is happening? I was just hoping that one of the 2 fielders would be able to get there in time. But if I had been really on the ball, I would have, you know, switched off of their automatic fielding and directed one of them to go back a little farther, like double back and catch the ball on the bounce rather than trying to get it before it hit the ground. So because I didn't do that, Carlos is now on second base instead of first, but that's okay. Because we just get an easy ground out with Gwen here. I thought my opponent would probably run with Carlos right there, so that as I was making the play at first, Carlos might be able to get to third. And if he had sprinted, he probably could have gotten there, but he just stayed put. You know, not a bad decision. Jorge's arm is reasonably strong. Carlos might have gotten out if he'd tried it. Now we've got Larry back up. Go for a timeout here, and I'm going to make a pitching change. So my other pitcher besides Fernando, who's been doing pretty well this game, is Chucky, who is now on the mound. So I need to hide Fernando. I figure the best place to do it is second base. We'll see whether that decision pays off for me. Easy catch. And we're back up with Artie Pimbleton. I really do like Artie a lot. He's got some pop to his bat despite being like a mid-60s type of guy. Here's another great play. Not from Larry, but from Carlos. Larry is fast enough at least that he gets there and flubs it up in the air so Carlos can complete the play. But honestly, I was surprised when I saw Larry miss it, as his coordination stat is crazy. Rather, it's his eye that's crazy. I'm sorry. His coordination is slightly above average. All right. Fernando, we just saw me switch him off. Oh, I swung early there. That was one of those heaters that kind of has a little bit of hitch in it and doesn't get to the plate as fast as you would think. I got fooled by that. That's my fault. We just saw me take Fernando off the mound due to his low stamina, so he's slow right now. I don't expect that he'll be getting on base. So what I want to do is make this at-bat go as long as possible and not strike out. I don't want to give him the opportunity to get a more juice power-up. Just want to foul balls off. And just as I was talking about not wanting to strike out, I take that pitch, and that is a strike. So that was one of those pitches that is just like barely inside the zone. Only like a tiny fraction of the ball makes it into the grayed out strike zone. So, you know, nice pitch. Good location from my opponent. And I think out of frustration there, I swung on the first pitch with Donald. I really should not be doing that. Especially now that he's gotten 2 strikeouts, so his odds of getting a juice are, you know, have doubled. I need to continue working, you know, against his stamina in order to make him consume that juice if he hasn't already. Should be an easy out. Yep. We tried. Con Bros back up to bat. And I have Chucky on the mound still, not Fernando. So Chucky's only 2 pitches are heat and left hook. And I don't want to be throwing a lot of heaters against Mike's strongest batters. But that's kind of the spot that I'm in. You know, I need to let Fernando continue to rest over at second base. Thankfully, we get a simple ground out. You can really see the difference in players' like fielding ability based on their height if you compare that play to the one where my third baseman messed up a couple innings ago. Because Jorge, even though he was like auto fielding and was about to run past the ball, it seemed, he just knelt down and kind of scooped it up. He just has a bigger like catch box as a 4 height. So you kind of get away with not like manually fielding the ball sometimes, and he'll just grab it. Of course, his eye is 1 out of 100, so he can't grab pop-ups very well. I guess that kind of balances him out. Trying to get Mike to go for a heat outside the zone. This one's in the zone, but he fouls it off. It was a pretty well-located pitch. And I go for a risky, like weird right hook here. And I almost pay the price. Nearly a home run. But Hillary grabs it. Alicia, another home run threat. Gonna pitch low. And Artie with the catch. I mean, what a player. I got crazy during the draft. Like I'm thinking a month in the past now, but so this is my opponent taking a timeout, and I'm going to go ahead and make use of it to do a little bit of a fielding change because Fernando's got enough juice that he can pitch the next inning now. Thinking back to the draft, I think I got Artie in like the 7th round, which is just crazy value. Might have even been the 8th round. That sounds insane to me, but the Little League kind of had an insane draft of people picking players they should not have picked as early as they did. I remember Mike takes kind of a long time out here, so we'll just chat for a bit. You and me, whoever's listening to this, watching this. Oh, it's faster than I thought. He's got Nan on the mound now, the Kurt Schilling clone. I think Nan's most accurate pitch is a heat. So I'm anticipating to see some more fastballs, just like when Todd was on the mound. And I'm fine with that because I'm back to the top of the order here. Yeah, we let that go. I should let the next one go as well, unless it's juicy. Like if it's a fastball, I'll probably go for it. Okay. That was, I should not have swung at that. It seems that commentary me has more faith in my patience than, player me. That, though, I don't regret swinging at that at all. A heater like that that's clearly in the zone, yeah, you bet I'm swinging at that. Unfortunately, even though I was on line drive, I popped it way up, but whatever. It happens. All right. So walking Betty here would make a lot of sense. Actually, you know what? No, it wouldn't. I mean, I could, and then just try to get her out on a double play or something. Let's see if Jorge gets this. Nope. So there, if you want to rewind that, you'll see what my mistake was. I tried to auto field with Jorge because he was on a course like not to catch the ball. I wanted to auto field with him, but when I went to do that, I actually clicked on first base. I needed to click closer to Jorge to manually control him. So that was my fault. And this is pretty embarrassing. Obviously, you want to get the runner out at second rather than at first there. But that didn't work out. Chucky's arm too weak. He couldn't throw it directly to the second baseman. There was a bounce, and it got away from me. And Mike just makes a simple error here and doesn't turn around his base runner, which lets me get the double play. Unfortunate. Beautiful snag from Wally. Just dump it off to Cheryl, get the third out. And we're feeling great. My opponent is scoreless through 5 innings. The game is virtually locked up at this point. Plus, I've had my 3rd, 4th, and 5th hitters up to bat at minimum here, so I might be able to tack on an additional run or two. Tripping over my words here. Let's see how Cheryl handles it. I'm going to take a break from commentary for a second. Oh, yeah. Now, that should have been, a double. Not a ground rule double. It should have been inside the park. And it should have been a double. But because of whatever weirdness resulted from, like, the custom code used for the BBOL, it doesn't, the game doesn't account for fences. And that screen, you see that screen in center field? If you hit a ball long enough that it would ordinarily hit that screen, it actually just goes right through it. So as long as the ball exceeds a certain, distance, I guess, it just counts it as out of the park. Another home run from Jorge would be beautiful. Let's see if we can add on to our lead here. Of course, he's already done more than enough. I don't expect that from him, but I'd love to be up 7-0 instead of 6-0. Why not? Got a long ball here. Larry has an incredible eye. So all you have to do when you're fielding with Larry is click a base, and there is like a 99% chance that he will catch the ball as long as he gets there in time. And his, you know, his speed is good enough that he typically will. Nice hit from Hillary. Amir just fields out like a professional, man. Impressed with Amir in center field. I mean, I wouldn't put him there personally if I were, you know, playing with the Kahn brothers on my team, but it's working out, man. Since Hillary is kind of slow, we're gonna click steal with her to get a little bit of a head start on this hit from Artie, assuming we can make contact. Very nice. Well played for my opponent. You know, the stealing with Hillary there, I mean, she's a 5-speed. That's definitely not sufficient to get there in time to prevent the double play. So this is not the top of my opponent's order, but it might as well be. I mean, Gwen is probably who he should have batting first rather than Carlos. Just my take on it. So it's kind of like the top of the order. And we're going to try to complete the shutout. So we're pitching conservatively here. You can see me aiming my pitches like right there, that little correction I did to the left hook. I want to try and get him to go for something outside the zone. You know, but he sees clearly that that is not in there. And that as well. I mean, good eye not to swing at that. That's the sort of pitch that I might go for. Another foul. So you can see Fernando's stamina is really flagging. I'm not upset about that walk. I just keep my pitches on the corners. You know, if I walk somebody, I mean, first of all, I'm up 6-0, so this game is more or less in the bag. But if I walk somebody because I'm pitching to the corners and my pitcher isn't able to, you know, get it in there, that's okay. However, I'm pretty sure, do I call a timeout here? No. And I pay the price for it. Larry with a big home run, one that actually goes over the fence and doesn't just land, you know, on it and get counted as a homer. So Mike on the board, and he does have Amir, Ahmed, and Betty Houston, all home run threats, all coming down the pipe. So seeing this home run, I realize it's not over yet. Still feeling confident, but we got to wrap it up. I guess this is the at-bat where I switch pitchers, because I don't think Fernando cleans up the game. I'm pretty sure Chucky does. This is beautiful. Thank you, Artie, for being quick enough to get that ball, relay it to the shortstop. And then, of course, Cheryl, super strong arm, able to get it to Jorge. I'm not sure why Ahmed is so slow. Just going to let Hillary take care of this. Or not. No worries. We got Ahmed out. That is... Oh, Alicia as well. When I was listing the players that he's got coming up, Alicia, another threat. I forget what I was saying, but it's fine. Yeah, I thought Fernando would be off the mound by this point. I guess my memory is, you know, not what it used to be. And we're going to gamble on this. Nice. Oh, now I understand why I switched pitchers. It's because I used the fireball. There we go. So I need to find a place to put Fernando because he is like dead in the water. I think I settle on second base. Pretty sure I want to keep Artie in left field, but maybe not. Maybe I just gamble on him like not hitting it to... Okay, that makes more sense. Stick him in right field, hope that he doesn't push any balls to right. So he was ready. Like Mike was ready to switch stances there and go after that heater. I'm sure he would love a home run here. Does Hillary get this? Yes. Very nice. All right, you're going to see me taking the screen caps. Always take your screen caps. Anybody listening to this, whether you win or lose, just take them. Because you don't know if your opponent's game is going to crash before they can do it. So it was it was a pretty comfortable win after those first 2 innings where I went up 5-0. But Mike really turned it around. Not the game as a whole, but he started playing a lot better, I would say, once we got into the last 2/3 of the game. Maybe Mike disagrees. I don't know. But I think he can bounce back. He is a veteran after all. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for week 4, assuming I don't forget to hit record on OBS. Bye for now.